1. Introduction. My name is May. I am 58 years old. For a long time, my life looked simple and happy. I live in a nice house with a small garden. I have a husband, Derek, and a wonderful daughter, Mary. To our friends and neighbors, we were a perfect family. We always smiled in photos. We went on holidays together every summer. People often told me I was very lucky. They saw a happy wife with a good husband and a loving child. For many years, I also believed this was true. I thought my life was complete. I worked hard to make our house a home. My husband, Derek, is a successful man. He has a good job, and many people respect him. He is charming and always knows the right thing to say in public. He often brought me flowers or small gifts. Our daughter, Mary, is 32 years old. She is smart and beautiful. She has always been very close to her father. She looked up to him and believed he was the best man in the world. When she was a little girl, he was her hero. Now that she is an adult, she still thinks he can do nothing wrong. They have a special connection. I was happy to see them so close. But a perfect picture can hide a dark secret. Behind the smiles and happy holidays, something was very wrong. My happy life was a lie. For the past year, I felt a deep sadness inside me. I tried to ignore it, but it was always there. The truth is, my husband was not the good man everyone thought he was. Derek betrayed me. He broke the promises he made to me many years ago. He had another woman. This knowledge was a heavy weight on my heart. I did not know what to do. I felt lost and completely alone in my own home. The silence was too difficult to live with. One evening, I decided to tell my daughter the truth. I needed someone to understand my pain. I sat with Mary in the living room. My voice was shaking when I spoke. I told her that her father was not faithful. I told her about my discovery. I expected her to comfort me. I hoped she would be on my side, but she did not believe me. Her face became cold and angry. She stood up and looked at me with disappointment. She did not see my tears. She only heard an attack on her perfect father. "How can you say that?" she asked loudly. "Dad would never do that. You are making things up." I tried to explain again, but she refused to listen. She said I was trying to destroy our family for no reason. "You are selfish, Mom," she said. "You are trying to ruin everything. You are breaking Dad's heart with these lies." Her words hurt more than Derek's actions. My own daughter thought I was the bad person in this story. She chose to believe the lie because the truth was too painful. That night, I felt like I lost my husband and my daughter at the same time. 2. The big lie. In public, my husband, Derek, is a different person. To our friends and neighbors, he is the perfect man. He always smiles and tells funny jokes at dinner parties. When we go out, he holds my hand and tells everyone how lucky he is to have me. He often buys me flowers, but usually only when we have guests coming over. He plays the part of a good husband very well, and everyone believes him. They look at us and think we have a perfect life, a perfect family. This is the big lie we live every single day. It is a story he tells to the world, but it is not our real life. At home, things are not the same. When our front door closes, Derek's smile disappears. He becomes quiet and distant. He spends most of his time on his phone. His phone is his new best friend. He never leaves it anywhere. It is always in his pocket or in his hand. Late at night, after I go to bed, I often hear it ring or vibrate. He always leaves the room to answer it. He walks into the garden or the garage and speaks in a low voice, so I cannot hear his words. When he comes back, I ask him who called. "It was just work," he always says. "A problem at the office." His excuses are always the same. He gets angry if I ask more questions. He says I need to trust him more. One Tuesday evening, everything changed forever. Derek was taking a long shower and he left his phone on the kitchen counter. This was very unusual for him. Suddenly, the screen lit up with a new notification. A message appeared. I was not trying to look, but I saw it from across the room. My heart started to beat very fast. I walked slowly to the counter. My hands were shaking. I did not touch the phone, but I could read the words on the screen. The message was from a woman I did not know. It said, "Thinking of you, I had a wonderful time last night." My whole body felt cold like ice. I could not breathe for a moment. All my fears were true. He was not working late. He was with her. I did not confront him that night. I went to our bedroom and quickly got into bed. I pretended to be asleep when he came in. What could I say? My mind was full of sad pictures and painful questions. My biggest worry was my daughter, Mary. She adores her father. In her eyes, he is a hero. The truth would destroy her perfect picture of him. I did not want to hurt her like that. So I decided to keep my pain a secret inside me. I wanted to protect her from this ugly reality for as long as possible. Every morning, I put on a fake smile. I made breakfast and talked about simple things. But inside, I felt like I was breaking into a million pieces. Carrying this secret was the hardest thing I have ever done. I felt completely alone in my own family. 3. The divorce. For many weeks, I could not sleep well. The nights were long and quiet, but my mind was loud with sad thoughts. I thought about Derek's lies and the messages on his phone. The pain was a heavy weight on my heart. I knew I could not live this way anymore. I was tired of pretending that our family was happy. I had to make a change, even if it was a difficult one. I decided that our marriage had to end. I needed to be honest with myself and with him. It was time to ask for a divorce. One evening, I found the courage to speak. I walked into the living room where Derek was watching television. He looked comfortable and relaxed. My hands were shaking a little, but my voice was steady. I stood in front of him and said the words clearly. "Derek, I want a divorce." He did not look surprised or sad. Instead, he turned off the television and looked at me with cold eyes. A small, ugly smile appeared on his face. He laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "A divorce," he said. "And who do you think will believe you? Everyone loves me. They all think I am the perfect husband. You have no proof of anything." His voice was arrogant. He was sure that he would win. Our voices got louder as we argued. Suddenly, the door to the living room opened. Our daughter, Mary, was standing there. Her face was full of confusion and anger. "What is going on? Why are you shouting?" she asked. Derek immediately changed his face. He looked sad and hurt. "Your mother wants to leave me," he said in a quiet, broken voice. He was a very good actor. Mary looked from her father to me. Her eyes were not soft or kind when she looked at me. They were hard and full of blame. "Mom, stop this," she shouted. Her voice was sharp. "How can you do this to Dad? He is a good man. You are just being selfish." I tried to say something to explain my side, but she did not let me speak. Tears started to fall from my eyes, but she did not seem to care. She only saw her poor father and her cruel mother. "You are trying to destroy his good name and this family," she continued. I felt a deep pain in my chest. My own daughter thought I was the villain. She believed all of his lies. She walked over to Derek and put her arm around him. Then she turned her back on me completely. In that moment, the room felt very cold and empty. I was completely alone, alone at home. The days after our big fight were very quiet. The house was not a home anymore. It felt like a cold and silent museum where no one was allowed to speak. No one laughed. No one talked at the dinner table. We ate our meals without looking at each other. It felt like walking on broken glass. I was afraid to make any sound. Mary did not speak a single word to me. When I said good morning, she looked away and pretended she did not hear me. She walked past me in the hallway like I was a ghost. The silence was so heavy. It was much worse than shouting. Derek was very clever. He played the victim perfectly. He wanted Mary to feel sorry for him, and his plan worked. He often sat in his favorite chair with a sad look on his face, holding a book but not reading it. He sighed loudly when Mary was in the room. He told her many lies about me. He said I was an unhappy person and wanted to destroy our family for no good reason. "I love your mother so much," he told Mary one afternoon. I heard his soft voice from the kitchen. "I don't know why she is doing this to us. Our family was so happy." He was a very good actor, and Mary believed every single word. She saw him as the good man, the poor, hurt husband. My own daughter became a stranger to me. She was his ally, not mine. She was on his team. She made him coffee in the morning and brought it to him. She asked him if he was okay. She never asked me. When she looked at me, her eyes were cold. It was the same look you give an enemy. One evening, I tried to talk to her in the living room. "Mary, please, can we talk?" I started. She just stood up and left the room without a word. It broke my heart into 1,000 pieces. I was living with two people, but I felt completely alone. The house was full, but my world was empty. Every day was exactly the same. I woke up and they were already in the kitchen, whispering together. When I walked in, they always stopped talking. I ate my breakfast alone on the other side of the big wooden table. I spent most of my time in the garden or in my bedroom reading old books. I did not want to see their faces. I did not want to feel that pain again and again. The loneliness was a deep ache in my chest, but even with all this sadness, I knew my decision was right. I could not live with Derek's lies. I could not pretend to be happy anymore. My decision to get a divorce was my only way to be free. I had to stand by it, even if it meant I had to stand completely alone for a while. I was hurt, but I was not broken. 5. The truth comes out. One quiet evening, I was sitting alone in the living room. The house was cold and silent, like it had been for many weeks. Mary was in her room. I missed the sound of her laughter. After some time, she came downstairs wearing her coat. She did not look at me. "I am going for a walk," she said. Her voice was empty. I wanted to tell her to be careful, but I just nodded. The front door closed and the silence returned. I felt so lonely. I did not know that everything was about to change. Mary walked to a small cafe downtown. She wanted to get a hot drink and escape the sad feelings in our house. She pushed open the glass door and looked for a place to sit. That is when she saw him. Her father, Derek, was at a table by the window. He was not there for work. A woman with long, dark hair was sitting with him. They were laughing together. Mary watched as the woman put her hand on Derek's arm. Her father smiled and covered her hand with his own. Mary could not breathe. It was real. Everything I said was true. Her father, the man she loved and defended, was with another woman. She remembered all his lies. She remembered how she shouted at me. She felt sick. She quickly turned and ran out of the cafe. She did not want them to see her. She ran through the dark streets, and tears fell from her eyes. She felt so stupid and so angry. She was angry at her father for his lies and angry at herself for being so blind. When she got home, she threw the door open. I heard her and stood up, my heart beating fast. She looked at me, her face wet with tears. She ran to me and hugged me tightly. She cried and cried. "Mom, I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I saw him. You were right. You were right about everything. Please forgive me." I held my daughter and cried with her. I did not say, "I told you so." I just held her. In that moment, the wall between us fell down. The pain was still there, but we were not alone anymore. We were together. 6. A difficult time. After Mary learned the truth, we started the official process for the divorce. It was not a simple or quick thing. There were many papers to read and sign. We had to talk to lawyers. These meetings were always very serious and difficult. Derek did not want to make it easy for me. Every step was a new fight. He was angry that I was leaving him, and he wanted to make my life hard. The house we shared for over 30 years now felt like a cold, empty place. It was full of memories, but they were sad memories now. We had to talk about who would get the house, the car, and all of our other things. It was a very sad and stressful time for both me and Mary. The worst part was not the official papers or the meetings with lawyers. The worst part was what Derek did to our friends and family. He started to tell terrible lies about me. He called people we knew and told them a completely different story. He said that I was the one who destroyed our happy marriage. He told them I was selfish and that I left him for no good reason at all. Some people believed his words. I saw them in the local supermarket, and they turned away from me. They did not say hello. They just whispered to each other when I walked past. It hurt very much to lose friends because of his lies. The man I was married to for so long was now my enemy. He was trying to ruin my name in our town. But this time, I was not alone. Mary was with me through everything. She saw how much Derek's lies hurt me, and she was very angry at him. She stood by my side and gave me the strength I needed. When one of our old family friends called and asked difficult questions, Mary told them the real story. She defended me with courage. She said, "My mother is a good and honest person. My father is the one who lied to everyone." Having her support meant everything to me. On difficult days, she made me cups of tea, and we just sat together in silence. She held my hand when I felt weak. Her love was like a warm shield that protected me from all the pain and the cold words from other people. This whole period was like a very bad storm. There was a lot of wind, noise, and heavy rain. I felt like I was in the middle of it all, and it was hard to see the sun. It was a painful thing to accept that Derek was my enemy now. But with each new day, I felt a little bit stronger. I knew in my heart that I made the right decision for my life. I was sad, yes, but I was not broken. I was surviving this very difficult time. I knew that after every storm, there is peace and quiet. I just needed to be patient and keep going, one day at a time. With my daughter next to me, I knew I could face anything. 7, a new life. After the divorce was final, the house was quiet. For the first few weeks, the silence felt strange. I was used to the noise of arguments and the sound of Derek's lies. Now there was only peace. Mary and I lived together in the house. We were careful with each other at first. The bad memories were still fresh in our minds, but we were not enemies anymore. We were a small family of 2 trying to start again. The house was no longer a place of secrets and sadness. It was simply our home. One day, I walked past the local community center. I saw a poster on the wall for a book club. The club met every Wednesday evening. I felt very nervous. For many years, my life was only about Derek and Mary. I did not have my own friends or my own hobbies. Taking the first step was difficult, but I knew I needed to do something just for me. I stood in front of the poster for a long time. Then, I took a deep breath and wrote down the time and the room number. The next Wednesday, I went to the book club. My hands were shaking a little when I opened the door. Inside, about 10 women were sitting around a big table. They all looked up and smiled at me. A kind woman named Susan asked me to sit next to her. We talked about the book for an hour. After that, we just talked about our lives. They were all so friendly. They did not know about my difficult past. To them, I was just May. I left the meeting with a smile on my face. It was the first real smile in a very long time. My happiness started to grow at home, too. Mary saw the change in me. She saw me reading new books and smiling more often. We began to spend more quality time together. We cooked dinner in the kitchen and filled the quiet house with our conversation. Sometimes we watched old movies and laughed until we cried. Our relationship was broken before, but now it was healing. It was becoming stronger than ever. The house felt warm and safe again. It was a place of comfort. I was not the same woman who cried alone in her room. The pain from Derek's betrayal did not disappear completely, but it felt smaller now. It did not control my life anymore. I had my daughter and I had new friends. I had my new, peaceful life. Some days, I just sat in the garden with a cup of tea and felt happy. I was not just surviving, I was living again. I was building a new life, piece by piece. For the first time in many years, I felt hopeful about the future. 8. Finding love again. A year passed. My new life was quiet and peaceful. Mary and I were very close, and our home was full of warmth again. I had my friends from the book club and my garden. I thought this was enough. I did not want to think about love. My heart was still careful after the divorce. I was happy alone. I did not want to risk feeling that pain again. Then, one day, things started to change. I met a man named Robert at a local community event. He was a friend of one of the women from my book club. He had a kind face and a gentle voice. We talked for a short time about books and gardening. He was easy to talk to. He listened when I spoke. This was a very different feeling from my life with Derek. A week later, Robert called me. He asked if I wanted to get a coffee with him. I was very surprised. My first thought was to say no. I was scared to open my heart to someone new. The memories of Derek's betrayal were still there, like old scars. But then I thought about my new life. I was stronger now. Maybe it was time to be brave. I said yes. Our first coffee together was simple and nice. We talked for 2 hours. Robert was a history teacher at a local school. He was smart and funny. He never asked about my past or my divorce. He just talked to me like a normal person. He made me feel respected. We started spending more time together. We took walks in the park and visited a small museum. With Robert, I felt calm and safe. I started to laugh more, but in the quiet moments at home, I was still nervous. I was afraid to trust completely. One evening, Mary found me looking at my phone and smiling. She knew I was texting Robert. She sat down beside me on the sofa. "Mom, you look happy," she said gently. I nodded. "I am," I told her, "but I am also very scared. It is difficult to trust again." Mary took my hand. She looked at me with so much love in her eyes. "You deserve this happiness," she said. "You were so strong for so long. It is okay to let someone be good to you. Don't let what Dad did stop you from having a good life." Hearing those words from my daughter was everything I needed. Tears filled my eyes, but they were happy tears. She understood. She wanted me to be happy. At that moment, I felt the last wall around my heart fall down. I was ready to start a new journey. I was ready to love again with hope for a bright future.